In a kingdom where the sun rose golden and proud above the red hills of Utooma, there lived a queen who never raised her voice. Her name was Queen Awele, a woman of quiet grace, the kind of queen people barely noticed, yet somehow never forgot. She was married to King Dike, a warrior known not just for his broad shoulders and fierce eyes, but for how quickly those eyes burned with vengeance. For years, Queen Awele lived beside him, wearing golden robes and a silent smile, even as the palace walls whispered with the screams of enemies he'd executed. They called her the Sleeping Lily. Not because she slept too much, but because they believed she had no voice, no power, no fight in her. But oh, if only they knew. Before she was queen, Awele was just a village girl. Her father had taught her the art of listening. Her mother had taught her the art of patience. She believed that love was meant to heal, not destroy. But when she was chosen to marry the king, as a reward to her father for loyalty in war, she didn't choose power. Power chose her. On her wedding night, she looked into the king's eyes. They were fire. Hers were still water. And water always looks calm before it drowns the flame. One night, Awele heard her husband laughing at the fire pit with his war council. King Dike, booming, that coward's village is ashes now. His children. Slaves. And his wife. Huh. She begged for mercy. Awele froze. She had known that woman, she was once her childhood friend. SFX, fire crackling, low drumbeat rising. She turned away. But something inside her cracked that night. Whispered line. Queen Awele, he kills because he fears. But who will protect us from his fear? For months, Awele stayed silent. Each time the king returned with blood on his hands, he kissed her forehead like a lover, never knowing the shadows she now carried. She walked through the palace gardens, pretending to admire the flowers. She sat through his council meetings, smiling while they planned another raid. She listened as innocent names were read from scrolls, marked for death. And at night, when he slept beside her, she wept without sound. Voice trembling. Queen Awele, if I say nothing, I am as guilty as he. One day, she sat beneath the fig tree where old Mama Ozioma used to gather herbs. The old woman looked at her and said something she never forgot. Mama Ozioma, softly. A lioness does not roar to be feared. She waits until her cubs are in danger, then she pounces. You are waiting too long, child. Queen Awele, whispering. I am not a lioness. Mama Ozioma, firmly. Then become one. Or he will burn this kingdom to the ground. That night, Awele began to listen more carefully. But not to the king, to his enemies. She learned which chiefs were being targeted next. She learned the names of the loyal men being falsely accused. And quietly, like night creeping over day, she began to act. She sent secret messages through the laundry girls. She paid off the royal poisoner to delay execution orders. She replaced scrolls. Moved meetings. Hid fugitives in the temple. And every time her husband fell asleep after war meetings, she memorized the names of the next targets. Then, she began to kill. But not just anyone. Only those enemies that lived inside his own circle. One by one, the warlords who whispered blood into the king's ear vanished. Some were found with crushed leaves of death root in their wine. Others simply died in their sleep. Flashback voiceover. Queen Awele, if I cannot make him stop swinging his sword, I will take the sword from his hand. One morning, the king woke and found his council table nearly empty. King Dike, confused, angry, where is Nkem? Where is Adoji? And Olam? Servant, nervous, they never woke up, my king. The king turned to Awele. For the first time in years, he truly looked at her. King Dike, you. What have you done? Awele stepped forward, her voice calm, yet strong. Queen Awele, I did not kill your enemies. I only silenced the voices that made you one. Dramatic silence. King Dyke, furious, you betrayed your king. Queen Awele, no. I saved my husband. In the weeks that followed, the king grew quiet. No new wars were waged. No new blood spilled. And the people began to call her something new. Awele the Bold. The queen who saved her kingdom, by becoming the very thing they never expected. Not a warrior. Not a poisoner. But a woman who killed to protect peace, and made her husband a better king. Retouch your heart, if Queen Awele's silent strength made you think about the quiet battles we all fight. Then don't let this story die in the shadows. Backhand index pointing right, share it with someone who needs to remember that real power doesn't always roar. Speech balloon comments below with these words, strength isn't always loud, so we know you were here. And if you believe African stories like this deserve a voice, a stage, and a legacy. Yellow Heart, subscribe to African Stories and Mysteries, where every tale has a truth, and every voice echoes across generations. Because the world may forget names, but it never forgets a story that made it feel something. Brain moral. Sometimes, the loudest love is silent. And sometimes, peace must be protected by hands no one sees coming.
Watch out for part 2.